Thank you for joining us on the Kentucky Couple Podcast. I'm Clifton.
And I'm Whitney.
So, first of all, sorry we've been off for a little bit. We've had a lot going on just with our family. Lost a member of our family just recently this past week, and that kind of got us behind. We're doing stuff like that, and also we're really busy starting school back. So we're recording a couple podcasts today to get us back on track and back in the schedule and kind of back in the groove. And this is our 10th episode. So I think it's only appropriate that we are going to be discussing maybe the place that started the travel itch for us.
And probably the most popular place for our area.
Yeah. So we're from Southeast Kentucky, and for many families, just the weekend getaway or the kind of maybe even the family vacation is a trip to the Smokies, so to Sevierville or Pigeon Forge or Gatlinburg. We kind of call the whole area Pigeon Forge. I know some people may call it Gatlinburg, some the Smokies, but kind of Sevier County is what we're referring to. So I'm sure most of you listening have been there or at least heard of that. So that's what we're going to talk about today. We're going to get back to our top 5 list and just our favorite things about the Smokies. I know for us, a lot of memories there. It's where we went on our honeymoon. It's where, as kids, our families went. Mm-hmm. So we're going to go ahead and get started. Whit, why don't you tell us your number 5 favorite thing to do in the Smokies?
My number 5 thing to do is I love going to the shopping centers. That's probably, I'll say it's number 5. It's hard for me to say number 5 because I like it so good, but
our bank statement may argue that's number
it's
1.
hard because I love the different shopping centers. I love they have a lot of shopping. They have the Tanger outlets, and I put them down lower on the list because they aren't like a recreation thing to do. Mm-hmm. But there's so many different places. There's those, and then there's the ones we always like to go to, like the Burke's Outlet and the different stores on that side. I think it's Old Time Pottery is what it's called. I get it confused with the different names. There's another one called something like that. But there's just, I love that. So shopping is, it's hard to say 5 because most of the time we make a trip just so I can shop. Yeah,
I mean, and usually that, if nothing else, we make a run down there before school starts back every year, just, school clothes shopping, since we're both teachers. Usually Christmas time, we will make a run down and, maybe refresh our wardrobe or something, or get some warmer clothes in when that's in season. But it's definitely a place, I would say now we go 2 or 3 times a year.
Yeah.
Earlier on in our marriage, maybe when we didn't have as much money, just getting started, that was kind of a place we may go for one night, every couple months, just a place to get away.
It was a little more affordable before.
Yeah, it was. And we'll kind of get into some of that in a little bit, kind of how it's changed over time.
We literally would go almost once a month at least for a while.
Yeah, people would joke, like, are y'all going to move down there? And
for a long time, I really thought we could. Because I loved, and I still would consider it. I don't know, but I really loved it there.
Yeah. So my number 5, and I know this is probably not in your top 5 list, but I know this is something you really enjoy. And I think we enjoy it for different reasons. But in Gatlinburg, they have a locally owned shop called Caramel Corn. And it is...
That was one I almost put on my list. I went back and forth with that one because I like it so much.
So one of my favorite foods, especially before we had COVID, is popcorn. I just love it. And it's a shop that... And, there's tons of popcorn shops in the Smokies, and I've never been to any that's bad. But this one is really... I guess my favorite popcorn is movie popcorn. And I know at home we had Carmike Cinemas growing up, and to me they had the best popcorn, and it reminds me of that.
It's still Carmike, it's still in the running.
Yeah, and it's still like their popcorn there. They're making it fresh. It's hot.
Yeah, it's really hot. And it always looks like it's like an older looking popcorn
hot
machine.
Hot popcorn and hot butter.
And they have all kinds of flavors too.
Yeah, you can add
you
flavors.
Always get the plain, but I see there's like white cheddar, caramel. The name is like the caramel corn. That's what they're popular for.
Yeah, and there's tons of stores you can go in the Smokies where they may have 200 flavors of popcorn. this place is having that kind of
But they make
variety.
it there.
But they're making it, and it's fresh and it's hot, and that's really what I
It's just
enjoy.
different.
And
But
so
not
tell
to
them why
mention,
you enjoy it.
not to mention, my favorite thing there, their caramel apples are absolutely the best. Like right beside of it is one of those fancy, and I don't remember the name of it.
I don't either.
But it's one of those fancy candy stores that has like the massive caramel apples with all the toppings, and they have like the fudge and all that. But they have like just basic, pretty much. I think they may even have a candy apple, but they have like caramel plain, and like peanuts or something.
Yeah.
And they're simple and plain, but they load it. It is thick caramel, and it's always hot and fresh, and it is. Last time we went, I was so sad because they didn't have any that day. Broke my heart.
Well, and that goes to show you how good they are. That them and the competitor directly next door both have caramel apples. The one next door had all you wanted. They had already sold out for the day.
Yeah,
And this was
they didn't have any. They weren't
early in
making
the afternoon.
Yeah, they weren't really making any more. And I'd say it's probably seasonal too. They
Yeah.
probably make more in the fall. But they also have like ices there, I think, and drinks. It's pretty basic. It's just they got their few things, and what they do really well.
Yeah.
So I give them a major shout out. We love them. I mean, I hope they stay forever because I'll
Yeah.
be sad if I drive and they're not
Yeah,
there.
it's been around for years, and so if you're ever over there, it's on the right side of
It's
the road,
kinda
right on
hard.
the parkway.
It's easy to miss. It's
Yeah.
in the corner, kind of tucked.
It's kind of right at the end of a shopping center, but it's right in the heart of Gatlinburg
Yeah,
on the
it's great.
strip.
So
So
great.
you
Now
can't
I
miss it
want
if you're
one.
looking for it. Yeah.
I'm gonna have to drive down there.
All right, so let's go to our number 4. Why don't you give us your number 4?
It's so tough for me. My number, I'm gonna flip flop. I had one in my mind. It was gonna be 3 and 4, but I'm gonna flip flop. So my number 4 is probably the island. I really like the island. I could probably put it higher on the list, and I was gonna say 3, but the crowd is just really difficult.
Yeah.
But they do really good with bringing people back. I feel like they try really hard to do the trolleys and all that to get you in there. Pretty simple. I would like to try to stay at the Margaritaville Hotel, but it's super expensive. It's just I'm not paying that to stay in Pigeon Forge when we're so close.
Yeah.
But I do enjoy it. I enjoy like the food options. Like there's like snack type foods, like 'cause there's like Auntie Anne's, and I love that. And they have like snow cones and some things like that. I enjoyed the wheel and that kind of thing. Clifton's not so much into it. They have an arcade and the Cinnabon. I always love that. I just like it. I think it's fun to just walk around and get like a vacation atmosphere. It reminds you of the beach or something.
I think the best way I would describe the island is just like all of Pigeon Forge shrunk down.
Yeah.
It's like a little bit of everything is there.
Yeah, and it reminds me so much like Broadway at the beach at Myrtle
Yeah.
Beach or something.
And that's
our
definitely what
niece
they're going for.
absolutely adores the island.
Yeah, our niece
She-
Ellie, if she was on this podcast, that would be number 1.
I wish she was here to tell you about it
Yeah,
because
it's
she
just
loves it.
So
Loves it,
much
loves it.
joy when she is talking about the island. She just loves it.
She
like,
does.
We'll say, hey, we're going to Pigeon Forge. She's like, are you going to the island?
I think
That's all
she
she wants to
just-
know.
Assumes Pigeon Forge is the island
The island,
sometimes.
yeah.
But there's also like the Paula Deen restaurant there, and I think there's a Margaritaville restaurant there. But I've not done the Paula Deen restaurant. It's not really, Clifton's kind of different. He doesn't like the same kinds of foods I do, so it would not be beneficial to us. So, but yeah, I really like the island.
So, yeah, like I said, there's just a lot going on there. And it's like if you've been to Myrtle Beach, Broadway at the beach, it's that kind of setup. And I'm sure if you've been to Pigeon Forge, you know where the island's at. I mean, they've kind of rerouted traffic on the parkway around it just, to put in another traffic light. And it's a
Got
major.
a cool fountain show.
Yeah, the fountain show is probably my favorite part.
It's cool,
Just
and then
the,
there's some really cool like escape rooms.
well, and the rocking chairs and things.
Yeah.
Those are.
A lot of live
It's
music.
relaxing, especially
Yeah.
in the evening.
But
Even though-
sometimes we do skip it because of the crowds.
Yeah.
So, it's depends on what time of year and stuff. Sometimes it's a little less crowded sometimes around Christmas time, but it's still right now Pigeon Forge is getting really crowded year round. So
Yeah.
you just have to we drive by and look under the hill and kind of see how many cars are there.
Yep. So that you kind of hit on my number 4, which are the escape rooms. Now I know there are escape rooms everywhere. We have some locally now.
Yeah, we've been
But-
to some everywhere.
Yeah,
Different
but
places
I will say
all over.
the variety and quality that are at Pigeon Forge. It's the first place we ever done one, but there are several, and I think with that competition, it kind of makes them step their game up. So
Yeah,
for
the
anybody
first
that's
one-
never been to an escape room, I guess let's kind of do a little mini 5-minute
Yeah.
spiel on escape rooms. You are essentially, quote unquote, locked in a room with your party. Now that could be, depending upon where you go, that could be 2 people, that could be 8 people. But you're locked in a room and you have an hour to escape. And all of these rooms that we've been to, they're kind of have a story, a theme behind it that make it a little more entertaining and kind of make it a little more realistic, at least for how you got in this predicament. So with our first one was in Pigeon Forge, like we said. I think it was called Trapped: The Escape Room, and if I'm not mistaken, now it's moved around a couple times. It was out in Sevierville, then it was down kind of to the end of Pigeon Forge at the Strip, but now I believe it's moved to kind of a more permanent location, right where the Lumberjack show is, where I think it's Paul Dean's Lumberjack show, and I think there's a Harley Davidson shop there. There's a movie theater there, and it's located there. So that's the first one we done, and we did the Capone. And so they give us a whole spiel. Okay, we're going to lock you in here. There's puzzles you have to solve to get out this door. And now, just for those wondering, you're not really locked. Like, if you needed to leave and go to the restroom, that's fine. But your hour is just that hour. You don't get more time or whatever. So you're not really locked. And we've never been in one where, somebody's going to jump out and get you. I mean, I'm sure that's probably a thing somewhere, haunted ones.
I'm not sure I could handle that.
It's not one we've done. But it was called Capone, and the story behind it was that you are in Al Capone's apartment, and he knows that you have some answers for him, essentially, somebody that he's looking for, and you can help him find them. And he had to run an errand of some sort, and he's coming back in 1 hour's time, and the story is that either you will answer his questions or he'll kill you. He's a gangster, a mobster. And so we were new to this, and we're running all around. And early on, just kind of set the picture, we had found like a little toy gun, and we thought there was this door there that had the lock on it. We're like, all right, that's the door. And we found the code for it. And we're like, all right, we're out. And there was like 15 minutes left. Well, when I opened the door, there's a picture of Al Capone sitting there, and he's got like a little pocket sewed on this picture. And when I reach inside, there's 3 like Nerf gun bullets. And there's a little note, and it pretty much says, all right, there's this fireplace in the room, real fireplace, and there's pictures on top of it. You have to shoot those pictures to further the game. So I shoot a picture, nothing happens. Shoot another one, it falls over, and there's this trap door opens up inside the fireplace, and we go in. You have to crawl under into a whole separate room, and we didn't get out that time. We've done some, we've got out, some we've not, but
I love that one.
They are so fun.
And we did one that was like, it had like a prison setup.
That was probably the most realistic one.
It was realistic.
It was at the island, and we done it actually with another couple that we didn't know, and we started out in one prison cell. They started out in another, and we kind of had to work together to break out of the prison cell before we did anything else.
And then we did the cabin with the moonshine haunted cabin like thing or something.
So it was
with some friends.
Those are really fun.
They are fun. I never thought I would like them, but I actually do.
I love puzzles and I love history. So like some of them are kind of history themed. Like we did one where it was almost like a terrorist network, and there was that kind of theme behind it. So it was. It's just fun. It's a fun
thing I feel like, if to kind of get your skills working together, like couples, families,
I know a lot of coworkers. Do it,
yeah, it's really cool.
So we highly recommend that. Like I said, look for coupons because I know some of them get a little pricey. Some are really manageable, and then some are on the pricier side. So just kind of know that going in, budget for it.
There are coupons everywhere in Pigeon Forge.
Yeah, that's a big. Whitney always cracks up at me every time we go somewhere. I'll get a coupon book, and I'm like, she's like, you never use those. I was like, yeah, but I kind of.
But we have pulled them out and used them like for fudge or for a meal or for ice cream somewhere, or just so much % off pizza if we order it, or just anything. So I mean, you can anywhere. They're everywhere. At your hotels or at your shopping centers. That like monster coupon books have like a koala in front.
Yeah, and it kind of just is a way to organize it.
And it reminds us as a kid though, because when we was a kid, our parents did that.
Yeah. All right, so let's go to our number 3. What's your number 3 on your list? I know you just switched them around. So.
My number 3 is a combo of the Moon Pie Outlet and the Three Bears General Store.
Okay.
I love both of those stores. I don't even count them as shopping. I do not go to Pigeon Forge hardly unless I at least go to one of them or both of them. I didn't get to go to Three Bears last time. The traffic's been kind of crazy, but I always go to the Moon Pie, okay? So I always buy taffy because they have barrels.
You went twice this last time.
I know. I love it. There was like barrels of taffy, so I always bring back taffy because my dad asks for taffy every time we go. I look at all the little gifts they have, all the little things that I always
candy.
Oh yeah, all the old time candy. There's all kinds of like TV show, like stuff that you can buy, like games about them or whatever.
Glass bottle pop.
I always get the glass bottle pop. There's a basement full of junk. I just love to go through the junk.
Well, it's okay. So this is set up to be kind of half really a moon pie outlet. They have all sorts of flavors of moon pies.
Any flavor you want. RC.
I don't like moon pie, so would you want to describe what is it? Kind of like a graham crackery.
It's like a graham cracker sort of
sandwich with marshmallow, different flavors.
And there's like vanilla, banana, chocolate. Those are the famous
peanut butter.
ones. I think so.
Strawberry.
I don't know. I'm sure there is.
Yeah.
I know there's salted caramel because that's what I like. There's mint. I know the ones I like. There's mini ones. There's big ones. You can buy them in a box. You can whatever, you know.
And then, so, in the mountains and in the south,
it's very old-fashioned stuff.
Moon pies and RC, they sell those together in a package, I'm sure,
That's
to mark
a big
up.
thing, yeah.
But it's also half kind of a bookstore.
Kids' books, adults' Bibles.
Yeah, half. I mean, not another half, but another section, I guess, is kind of nostalgia type
decor,
stuff.
like old-fashioned decorations. Like some of my favorite. I can't think of his name off the top of my head. The guy that I like that paints the pictures of old trucks and stuff. I've got his stuff everywhere, but he has a lot of paintings there. Most of the time, I don't buy a lot there because it's pretty marked up. We bought like a checker set. They have like checkers out you can play.
Get like a bag of candy.
They have an old church pew out front you can sit in. I just really love. I'm like an old soul. Like I like old stuff. Anything nostalgic, anything old, I love it. So that is like my favorite. And you've got to where you're not going in with me and been sitting in the car. So we're gonna have to stop that. So all you people listening is gonna have to get on to him for not going into the Moon Pie Outlet with me and playing the checkers like we used to.
I went in 50% of the time last time.
Yeah, but it's time. Okay, we're gonna go back. So because we play checkers and that's something we do, but we're usually late going. So.
All right, so I think some of the things we hit on there actually is my number 3. My number 3 is also a combo, but what I like about Pigeon Forge still is that there's a variety. There's something for everybody.
Yeah.
It's family friendly.
Yep.
There's a lot of places you go that there's something for everybody, but a lot of it's still geared toward adults and maybe things adults like to do. Pigeon Forge, almost everything. I would say 99% of things there are for the whole family.
Yeah.
And that's
it's pretty
unusual.
Wholesome.
And so that's unusual kind of in the day and time we live.
Yeah, I still love it.
And so part of that brings back really, I guess, what's my number 3, and it's just the nostalgia. I think, as a family,
great memories.
Growing up as a family, we didn't go on a lot of long trips away. Like we didn't.
The Pigeon Forge was a big deal.
Yeah, we went to the beach once when I was 10 to 12, and once when I was in high school, and that was it. Outside of that, I believe every vacation we ever went on was the Pigeon Forge.
Yep.
I mean, we went to. I'm sure you're number 1.
Oh.
I mean.
Just hold it on,
like thousands,
I gotta get to it.
Thousands of times, and but those memories,
it's great.
Are as you get older, they're important and they mean something to you.
I mean, you can almost drive by most of the hotels, most of the stops, and have a story that somebody, either your family, one of us as as a spouse, one of the times you went with the school group,
or
your
even
friends.
when we took the church the bad time when we got in the
church,
the dirty hotel that we talked about a couple episodes
ago. We may have to tell that one, but we did
in our hotel episode.
Yeah, we did. But man, we've had a blast. We've been to conferences.
It kind of does feel like a home away from home.
It is. And it's so fun because
I feel like we've grown up with Pigeon Forge.
Yeah.
In a way. And
And I'll still, like, always, I get excited every time. Like, we went a few weeks ago, I was just as excited to go to Pigeon Forge as I was when we packed for Alaska. Because I feel like...
I was not.
Well, I was. And I'm sorry. I mean, I love it. But what I guess what it is for me is... Like when we pack for a big trip like Alaska or the beach or somewhere it's kind of a long trip or we have to pack a lot, I stress about packing, flying, getting everything together. Pigeon Forge to me is my relaxing place. I just grab a bag. We can go overnight. Don't have to worry about everything. We're close to home if we need to get back to the dogs because we have a million dogs. So it just excites me, and I feel like that's my place.
I have one more that's a part of my number 3, but it may be your number 2. So I'm gonna see what your number 2 is, and I will reserve the right to add in a bonus one, depending on what your number 2 is right now. So go ahead.
Laserport is my number 2.
That was the one. So
I mean, it's probably not the best arcade there.
No, we love arcades. Okay, if we have a confession, everybody makes fun of us. We went on our honeymoon back, I guess, 2010, so almost 12 years ago now, and we spent like $300 in the arcade.
Yes.
And so everybody's like, are you serious? You're adults now.
We went every day.
Yeah.
Every day.
Multiple times a day sometimes. And it was the wintertime. Everything's kind of closed down.
I adore it.
So.
It's an amazing place.
When I was a kid, we'd always stay close by. Sometimes like next door to this arcade. And it's still almost exactly the same.
There's a big alien
coming
out the front.
There's a big purple alien with like a laser tag gun in his hand. And I remember we would always go the morning we were getting ready to come home. Like sometimes we get to go play in the arcade, other times, but we would always go that morning because before 11 a.m. they had the early bird special. The early bird special, and it was buy one get one free. So me, my dad, and brother would go and play laser tag, and that was the thing we did before we came home. So yeah, we both love it. They have updated it recently. They've added
putt-putt.
They've added indoor putt-putt. There's there's go-karts that is multi-story go-karts outside.
Well, let me say what I like. The Hershey's ice cream.
Hershey's ice cream.
It's my favorite. It's the best. The peanut butter.
The ice cream parlor wasn't there when we were kids.
They have some good little snacks there. Yeah. And I wore my shirt yesterday. I got a free shirt because we bought so many tokens one day. So
yeah.
I wore my shirt.
Yeah, when they're giving you prizes before you even start at the arcade, you spend a lot of money there. But they've updated the games, and like I said, it's because it's competitive. There's arcades every 10 feet.
Yeah, and we know their game. I know where they're at. Yeah. I know when I walk in the door, I'm like, get my token, and we're going over here playing the basketball Connect 4. I usually hit the skee ball, the piano game where we try to keep the keys. We just deal or not burn that up. We just know where they're at.
Yeah, so we like arcades of all sorts, and we've been to a lot of them, Pigeon Forge, but that's kind of the tried and true one. We just always go back to it.
I mean, as many as we've been to, I never like them like I do that one. It just feels like going in your favorite place and just.
Well, and I'll tell you one of the things that's always kind of perplexed me about Pigeon Forge is there's certain places that they just close early. Yeah. No matter what day of the week, and I'm like, okay, you're at a tourist place. It's a Friday or Saturday night. I mean, there's people lined up out the door every store in town. Why? Shut down at 9, 8 or 9 o'clock. I can say,
my two places, the Laserport and the Moon Pie, they're open late.
Yeah, they'll stay open until 11 or 12 o'clock, and I'm like, that's kind of how I would probably do it. Yeah. So that's a lot of times just the end of the day. They're like, we got a few minutes to kill.
We'll go back, take a nap, sometimes swim, eat a bite, and then it's like 9:30. We're like, let's go play some games, and most of the time it's open.
Yep. So I figured that would be your number 2. So I'm glad you had that there. So my number 2 is Gino's Pizza.
I knew it.
I love Gino's.
I do like Gino's too. There is stuff that I'm not putting on my list that will have some honorable mentions because I'm going to have to mention a few more. But so Gino's is pretty awesome.
Gino's is a local place. They have one in Sevierville, one in Gatlinburg, and one in Pigeon Forge. And so it's just, I don't know, it's locally owned.
It's great.
Now, I will say it's a little pricey, but, I mean, everything's a little pricey, I feel like, these days. But for me, Whitney can speak to the variety of their menu, but for me, they have the greatest cheese sticks in the world.
They're good, but they don't have a big variety.
No, but I mean they have sandwiches.
I get their like ham and cheese sandwich, and it's like a hot baked one. It's simple. It comes and they send you a pack of mayonnaise with it. They don't put it on it. You can put like lettuce,
they have
tomato.
some pastas and things, like a lasagna or something. I want to feel like you ordered that one time.
I don't think so. They have a calzone and they have some different types of pizzas. And then they had the chocolate breadsticks I tried this time. I really liked them. They're very plain. It's just their dough with powdered sugar and you dip it in like chocolate icing. I really love that.
Now, there are always coupons and specials for Geno's. I know that, but
most time they're on a little thing sitting by your bed. So
yeah. So I don't know why we tried it the first time. Maybe that was the reason. Maybe they're the only place that could deliver to the hotel they had an agreement.
And it's open really late usually.
And
like 3 a.m.
I'll just tell you, man, their cheese sticks.
We love them.
And okay, confession time. Okay, COVID happened. Okay, we had school was shut down. We would work through the day at school. We would go there. No kids were there. We'd make phone calls and have meetings with them over the computer.
He went with me. He could have worked from home, but he went with me. So.
And
give him a few brownie points on that.
So we were, we were at work, and I'm like, man, every restaurant was shut down. It was drive-through, and it was the same thing. Some places just completely shut down.
We do eat out a lot. So.
Yeah, and unfortunately, we went out of business, and we're like, and I was like, man, I would kill for Geno's, but everything in Pigeon Forge is closed. I mean, it's a tourist town during a time when people stay-at-home ordered, And so I'm like, all right, I'm driving to Pigeon Forge on this Thursday evening.
For 3 things.
Yep, so we went through, and we got the popcorn.
We actually took the long way, went through Gatlinburg.
We come through the back way, yeah.
Yeah.
And through like towns and that way, and that's on farther south of Gatlinburg, for those maybe not as familiar with it. But we come in from that way and went to the caramel corn.
Got my caramel corn.
Yeah.
My caramel apples and Geno's
pizza.
Cheese sticks.
Yeah. And so at first we were a little devastated. We got there and the one in Gatlinburg had closed down. And I was like, oh no, they were closed certain days of the week. But luckily, the one in Pigeon Forge was open.
And the caramel place is open.
So we got it and headed toward the house. Never got out of the vehicle, really, just kind of door of service. And that was kind of the way we done it. And,
and I could say that we had a lot of fun during that time doing those types of things.
Yeah. So driving's never bothered us, and so we really enjoyed that. So that's my number 2. I love Geno's. So I'm going to go with my number 1 first because I know you're number 1. I know it's probably what most people associate with Pigeon Forge. So we'll save that for last because it's definitely something we both have a lot of experience with and in a relationship with. But my number 1 favorite thing to do in Pigeon Forge is the Comedy Barn.
I like the Comedy Barn.
I love the Comedy Barn.
We haven't done it in a while, so we need to do it.
So, I love to laugh. I love, telling jokes. And, one of the things we said that we really liked is that it's family friendly. And the Comedy Barn is clean fun for the whole family.
Yeah, I always felt like it was decently priced.
It's not a place you're going to go and, be made fun of.
No, and if you like crude humor, you're not going to go there.
Yeah, this is fun for the whole family, and it's just, but it is funny, and it's quality comedy.
Makes me laugh
It's not stupid. It's not really corny. It's good. There's great musicians and singers there, a lot of talented people, but there's some really great comedians, and it's different kind of comedians. Some it's kind of the jokes they tell. Some it's the funny things they can do, with their bodies or something. And some people on stilts, and some's juggling and doing different things. But I don't know. They're really good at crowd work. They're able to work the crowd and just. It's so fun. I don't know. I've laughed. Till my jaws would hurt and kind of cramp up almost. I've laughed so hard. So I love it.
Google it. You'll find some funny videos.
Yeah, if you've never been, I know as a kid we never really went. We didn't know kind of what to expect. So I cannot recommend it enough. I love the Comedy Barn.
Me too. I do love it.
If said, all right, this is your last trip to Pigeon Forge, you got to pick one thing. That's probably what I'm going to pick because it's so unique. I don't know. I've never been anywhere else you can get that show, and it's amazing. I love it.
Yeah, I love the Comedy Barn, too. We've got pictures from, our honeymoon from there. We've got pictures, every so many years I like to get a picture there because it's kind of like seeing where we've kind of grown and changed. And they have a really good, they have a snack bar, and it's pretty good. And then they have some little, odds and ends and games and things, and probably won't the Thai. You'll have to watch the video of this Thai when he smells a stinky smell. It's my favorite. But they have clean bathrooms. I really like the Comedy Barn too.
Yeah,
it's one of my favorites.
Great. All right, so let's get into this. Your number one.
My favorite thing about Pigeon Forge is obviously Dollywood. Clifton is not a Dollywood person. He just doesn't like
now
it.
I want to say this. It's not that I just really dislike Dollywood. There are things about Dollywood that I still to this day love. Like everything else, it reminds me of my childhood. We had season passes almost every year I can remember as a kid. And so I don't know, it does remind me of my childhood, but it also reminds me of how much Pigeon Forge has changed.
Yeah, I can see that.
So there are things, like I said, I still love about it, but you go ahead and tell what you love about it.
All right. So I guess lately I've been in a little bit of a love-hate thing with it, I can say. I've always loved Dollywood because it's very old-fashioned like me. I love this. I like the old parts of Dollywood, the parts that's been there for years, like around the Tennessee tornado and Blazing Fury is like my all-time favorite.
Heart Song Theater.
Yeah, I'll get to the Heart Song. That's one of my favorite. I always love to look at the little schoolhouse that it talked about like the one-room schoolhouses, which they had closed, and you can't. Last few times I've been there, you can't even look in it. Every time I went, I always looked in it, and I've seen it a million times. The Heart Song Theaters, I love it because the video is like the one from the 90s, and it reminds me of growing up in the mountains myself, and it relaxes me. And I remember when I was a kid, and they had a man she sings the song Applejack, and they had a man dressed like Applejack that would come out and play the banjo, and that made me so happy when I was a kid. I just loved it. It just brings back a ton of memories. I love the carnival. That's my favorite. Mm-hmm. I've recently fell in love with the Wildwood Grove, I think is what it's called, because of our niece. We went with her like last year, I think, and I just had a blast with her. It's a lot of fun, smaller rides. So
yeah, as a kid, Dollywood is really a magical place, and maybe second only to Disney World.
Yeah,
I
guess for me, it would probably be kids. Number one for me because that's what we grew up doing.
Yeah, that was our Disney World.
Yeah,
and but so I love the shows. I love that about Dollywood.
They have amazing shows. Yeah. They're not just basic shows. They're really good productions.
Yeah, they're really talented people, and they do a good job, I think, of mixing it up with the seasons. They have some steadies that are always good and always dependable, but there's some things they bring back year after year that you look forward to. And so those, I can't recommend them enough.
Christmas at Dollywood, fall, it's amazing.
The only thing I think is that they felt a little bit of pressure to modernize and to change. And, I understand with any business, you want to grow. And I think businesses think that there's endless growth, that's really a possibility. And I don't know, to me, it doesn't have to be. They have changed some things that I wish they hadn't, I guess, over the years.
Me too, I agree.
And that's my biggest really complaint, or one of my biggest two complaints.
They took out my cave, which if you only knew if you go there, and it made me sad. And
so the little walk-through cave, like that's been there for years, and they took it out. I guess
it's a good place to
cool down. I understand it's getting more crowded, so to kind of open up a path, I understand that.
I could probably do a whole show just about Dollywood.
We may do that one day. We may do our favorite things about Dollywood.
It is my favorite, the corn dogs and tater twirls.
But, for me, like, the magic show growing up as a kid was amazing. Now it's not there. The little pizza shop that was there right at the top of the hill from the carnival, that's changed to something else. And
I didn't realize it changed.
Yeah, it's completely different. It's not even called the same thing.
Well, see, you never.
Thunder
Road. You're opening up for me here, so I'm seeing why you're just.
Thunder Road was a great thing, and
I love
even though they changed the show, but just that motion ride that was unique.
Always, it was something we did every time. Usually, the first thing we did.
And so that was something that's changed, and I don't know. I just feel
Which makes me sad because I love to go so much, and Clifton's not so much into it. But like used to, I mean, we go a lot. We've always went a lot with the schools and stuff. COVID kind of put a damper, so we've been a lot. We still have season passes. I've not used them this year, but I love Dollywood. I really want to go. Somebody tell him to take me.
All right, so let me just say it. I'm gonna go ahead and put my negative because this is my negative for all of Pigeon Forge and for Dollywood in particular. It's too crowded.
It is.
It is.
Something's got to give.
I don't understand. It's just so crowded and so expensive now. And, like, used to in March. Like you could go, Dollywood shut down
January through
from
March.
New Year's to early March. And you could go and stay in nice, clean hotels for $30-$40 a night.
Yeah.
Now
that's our honeymoon. We stayed for a week for like $150.
Yeah, and so now it's like $100 is cheap, and
a night.
And that $100 a night, you might get something sketchy if you're not careful. And so
every now and then you'll get lucky enough to dip down to the 80s.
Yeah.
And sometimes you will find something, but you have to look a lot.
Yeah.
And you have to, like, we're involved with like Priceline, so they give us deals.
I understand inflation. I understand, if A goes up, B has to follow. I understand economics. But I don't know. It's just the crowd, and to me, it's almost got not worth it. Like, it's so crowded that it's not enjoyable.
Well, you can't get from one place to the other.
Yeah. And so I don't know a way to make it better just because there's so much.
We always
expand the road.
No, and we always took back roads. That was, and we would there would be nobody on them because we knew every back route you could take, and now they're even crowded.
Yeah. And here's really, I'm just going to say it. My complaint with Dollywood is, like everything, it's too high. It's great.
It's always been expensive.
There's a lot. No.
Not as much as it is now.
I mean, you can go look at what a season pass was.
Yeah.
And what it is now.
But the crazy thing is it's like $80-$90 to get in for the day, and it's about the same price to go watch the Hatfield McCoys.
I understand that. Yeah. And I understand that. But I don't know.
It has went up a lot.
And I tell you what else drives me. Go
ahead and tell them. You hate the parking.
$100 a day if you went for a day trip. Because not everybody can go for a season. And so even though there's not a huge jump from a one-day pass to a season pass, what is it? They always said, 2 trips and you've paid for it. Some people can't come a second time.
Yeah.
And for those people that's going to spend their hard-earned money, $100 almost a person. So a family of 4, let's just say kids get a discount. Let's say a family of 4, $300 to get in. That's not counting the food. They're going to say that is outrageous. And I understand
it is.
Everything park is
That's
like
why
that.
I stick with the corn dogs.
And but then to charge them $20-$25 to park on top of it.
That's your pet peeve.
I mean,
every time we pull up and it's went up, he loses it.
I mean, and it drives me
and the crazy
crazy
thing is, like, when you get a season pass, is another thing they give you, like, bring a friend free passes. We tried to take my dad and stepmom, and you couldn't even get in. Like,
because they limit the days you can take it. And we got there, and the road to get in from 2 miles out.
From the backside.
It stopped. Just come to a halt.
The man was like, if you can find a parking spot, have at it.
But it's been so crowded lately. We've been before, and the fire marshal come and tell Dollywood, an outdoor place, no more people can be in here.
Yeah.
And I mean, I don't know.
It just I'm not saying I don't want people to come, and I don't know how you could fix it.
There is no way to fix it because it's great. I mean, there are things about it that are great, and I understand why people love it. But I don't know either, I guess.
Well, and it's, just like you said, like when we on the strip. So, like, when we go out.
I almost feel like it's just run its course for me.
Yeah, never for me, though. But that's besides the point. But the thing is last time we went, like, we ended up eating a lot of, like, taking stuff to the drive-thru and going to the room because the wait is so long to get into restaurants. If you're hungry, you might as well give up because it's, like, 2 hours sometimes.
That would be my biggest tip is, make reservations.
Yeah, we're learning that. And then, like, going from just a mile or two down the road can take a long time. Mm-hmm. To try to get in, pulling in and out because the roads, trying to get across the road, it's just really difficult. As much as I love Pigeon Forge, and I'll always love it. It's always going to be on my list.
I think my problem with Pigeon Forge and my problem with Dollywood, I feel like sometimes they change just for the sake of change.
Yeah.
Not for improvement.
Yeah,
and that's the thing.
Definitely not.
They're not innovating.
Yeah.
They're just changing, and that's a problem.
Yeah, and then just with all the busyness and stuff in the restaurants, and it's like the hotels are so high. Even like the worst ones are still pretty high. Like some that I would never stay in.
Oh yeah.
And then like the cabins on the other side, they are. That's something that we could do sometimes. But the prices on cabins are crazy expensive. So that's just something you can't hardly afford.
So, won't you tell us some of your honorable mentions?
Okay, so I just wanted to go through really quick and tell you a few things that we've done that I liked that I think that you would enjoy, because I want to always make sure you guys can kind of get our viewpoints of a few things. I like Wonderworks. I think it's a pretty cool place to check out.
I agree with that.
Decently priced.
Especially for kids.
For kids that like science and all that stuff, there's some really cool things in there. Because I don't want to keep on talking, but check Wonderworks out. We checked out Beyond the Lens. I thought it was cool. It was sort of like a museum / type place. It reminded me of a Ripley's, but it's not Ripley's, I don't think. But
no, it's not.
But it was pretty cool. It had some cool things in there. I would recommend it. I love the Titanic. Clifton's not so much crazy on the Titanic. If you are a teacher, you can get with your pay stub and your ID, you can get a Titanic ticket for free and get some discounts with your family. So if you're a teacher, you have to make reservations, check it out. I enjoy the Titanic. If you like history, if that's kind of your thing, I could probably do it every time. Clifton, he gets a little bored with it. So I love the Titanic. I love the Ripleys. I think the Ripleys are cool. Clifton doesn't like all of them, but I do. I love the aquarium, but let me tell you, if you go to the aquarium, it's going to be crowded. It's usually almost like crazy crowded.
All right, so I was just looking while we were doing the talking. That's why I was motioning, saying, keep going. But tonight, right now, 11 o'clock at night when we're recording this, okay, there's not really a supply and demand problem. Like, you should be wanting to fill rooms. A place on Priceline with a 4.5 star out of 10. This is a place we would never stay, right?
Mm-hmm.
Never. We wouldn't stay there. $135.
Oh my God.
And I'm like,
and it's August.
And I'm like,
people are already going back to school.
So I'm like, that is my problem.
Which one was it? Tell me.
I don't.
Nobody knows. It's us.
It was River Chase.
The River Chase, your dream hotel that you used to.
When I was a kid, I thought that was going to be just the greatest thing ever. And now that I'm
Chase,
adult, I'm glad we never stayed there. And I probably know why. But because they had an indoor water slide then.
Yeah, and they have a big one outside
and
too.
20 years ago.
It looks like it would be a great place to stay.
25 years ago as a kid, when I was 10 years old, nobody had water slides. Now, half the place on the strip have a water park.
Yeah.
But for me, I was like, oh my goodness. But now, I know a lot of those places have roaches and bed bugs.
Yeah, don't read the reviews on the River Chase. Sorry.
Yeah, so we never stayed there, so we can't confirm nor deny.
We never stayed there.
But the reviews have scared us away. And so I don't know, it's just some things that... it's things like that really
irritate you about Pigeon Forge.
Yeah.
But going back to my list here,
I had to throw that in.
That was great.
That was her bonus. That was mine.
So I love the Ripleys. The Ripleys, the aquarium, like I said, super crowded. I do like it. It's worth it. But the crowd is so intense and so full that it's kind of like an every now and then thing for us. I love there's the Ripley's, the 3D, 4D motion rides. I like those. We've always gotten those really discounted, pretty much free because of being a teacher. I don't know how often they do that with Ripley's, but I don't know. It's kind of expensive. It wouldn't be something you'd want to do over and over. We're looking at each other trying to think of what we're doing, so we're not. Anyway, so we've done I'm trying to think. They have a golf thing that we had tickets to. We didn't do, but it's at Tanger, the Ripley's. And then they have the Ripley's, believe it or not, which I love because I like quirky, weird things. Clifton didn't really like that one as much. It's got like the two-headed people and all that stuff. The two-headed people. I don't know if it's two-headed people or two-headed goats, I think. I love the NASCAR Speed Park. I probably should have put that on my top 5.
Yeah, you love it.
I love it. We took my friend's little boy, and we just had the best time because I guess I like small level rides and stuff. I'm not like into the big roller coasters, so I really love those. I'm trying to think. We've done several of the arcades. We've been to several of the track. That's a big thing in Pigeon. That's been there since I was a kid. When I was a kid, the track was a hot item. Yeah. And we did the go-karts at the track. We loved it. We did a lot of the shows. We've seen the Dixie Stampede, both Christmas and the regular and the Christmas show. I like those. We've seen the Comedy Barns, all their shows. I recommend all those. I've seen Hatfield McCoy's a couple of times. I really like those. I like the food. Clifton's a little bit pickier on the food, so we don't go there as much. And then we watched that new Button Willow Theater with the Civil War thing, and I liked it. It's not what you expect.
It's not really a show.
It's kind of like two people talking about the Civil War. Yeah,
it's a skit with two people, but it's more
educational.
This guy's just a Civil War buff, and he's saying his opinion.
But I think it's a cool thing to see occasionally. Maybe
it's different. I mean, if you like history, like if you're a Civil War buff, you may enjoy that. But if you're going expecting to be entertained, that's probably not it.
Yeah, it's true. We've seen the Paula Deen or the
Lumberjack.
Yeah, I was trying to think. I really like that show because it's affordable for the family and it's fun. Because all the other shows are really expensive. That
it's competition. It's a little different. It's not just.
It's different. Yeah.
Yeah, it's real.
And they actually had one like it in Alaska, just to note. So.
Yep, same branding. And same sponsor. So I'm sure a parent company probably, or at least affiliated with both of them, and really great athletes there.
We've tried a lot of the ice cream places. I like the Rita's. I go to the Chocolate Monkey. We usually stop at the Bass Pro.
Mad Dog ice cream.
Mad Dog's Creamery. We've stopped a lot of places, and if you ever have any questions, we could pretty much answer most questions about Pigeon Forge. There's a few things we haven't done, a few shows we haven't done. We've been to the Hard Rock Cafe. We've eaten there.
Yep.
We actually, and I want to throw this in really quick, we went and stopped by Flavortown this last time we went, because it really does look cool. And I think if we had a group of people...
The arcade was cool.
Yeah, if I had a group of people with us, it would have been better, because, like I said, he's very picky. There was nothing on the list, really, that you would have liked.
No.
Because I didn't even
nothing
see...
on the list I would have tried.
Well, I didn't even see, chicken tenders.
It was all... Well, there might have been chicken tenders, but it was, with a flair.
Yeah.
They had chicken and waffles, but it was, stuffed waffles.
Yeah, and it's just not his thing.
Spaghetti stuffed waffles. It was just kind of out there, and I'm a really plain
And it's
person.
very expensive, so, one of the appetizers was $18, and if you had a group of people and you could kind of share and everybody try it.
Just sample somebody.
Yeah, I would have done that, but it was just us. I knew we were going to come out of there spending $75, maybe $100 for something that he was going to not like, and I may not have either. I don't know. So we sit down, we looked at the menu, we got up and left. Not to say that if somebody else may try it and say you're crazy, it's amazing. I would try it again if I had more people. But Flavortown, you have to make reservations. It's really hard to just get in. I'm not saying you have to. You can walk in, but it was going to be a 2-hour wait, I think. So we made reservations for the next day. So you can go in there and make those reservations. There's is there bowling there too? Mm-hmm. It's really cool. So we may check that out again when we go back with our family. And then we also tried Guy's chicken place. Is that what it's called? Yeah. We drove to Gatlinburg. Chicken Guys, yeah. And it was really good. I do really recommend it. It's a really thin chicken. That's what we like. And
simple menu, which was up our alley.
Yeah, it was simple. It was simple. Lots of sauces to try. And you could go in and out pretty quickly.
Yeah, they have chicken tenders, fries, shakes.
Yep, that's pretty much what we like. So that was another one I want to throw up. We go to the movies a lot there. We love the theater in Pigeon Forge. So pretty much I'm trying to think. That's pretty much what we do.
Yeah. So
on the basis.
So when we post this, we'll have it up and have kind of a little comment section there on Facebook.
I'll post a picture of the caramel apple.
Yeah. Whitney, I'm going to put her in charge of posting these pictures and making a little post about it. But use that comments section. If you have questions, if it's something you've always thought about doing in Pigeon Forge, or maybe you're just now starting your family.
And maybe give us a recommendation that we could try.
Yeah, what's something you like that we've not talked about? Maybe a hidden gem. But if you're looking for recommendations, hit us up. We'll talk some more about it.
We didn't mention the breakfasts. We do those. I know that's a lot of people go for the pancake places. Yeah. We have tried several of those.
I love
flapjacks.
It's a chain,
Sawyer's is good.
Yep.
But we honestly like to sleep late. So a lot of times we kind of sleep in. And by the time it's usually when we get out moving, it's crowded. It's hard to get in. So we don't do those a lot, but we do like them. So that I want to throw that in there.
Yep. All right. So we're glad to be back kind of in the rhythm of doing this. We're going to actually record another podcast, but it won't be out for a little bit. The next one is going to be all about our home state of Kentucky. So we appreciate everybody listening. All the support y'all give us.
John and Tiffany are friends listening to this. Tiffany is our friend. But Tiffany, you need to tell Clifton to take me to Dollywood because he won't take me. So I need you and John to get on that right now.
I think you and John are taking her to Dollywood, and I'll stay at the house.
No, that's okay. He wants you to go too.
It'll be all right.
Oh. Oh, please.
All right, guys. So we appreciate everybody listening, and we'll see you next time.
See you later. Dollywood.